action.
Hey, how you guys doing?
How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm sorry. One more time. A little more enthusiasm.
Me? I'm sorry.
Everybody.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
This is
right.
why we needed the music before we started. Like, we need to have, okay.
There we go. There we go.
All right. Hey, you guys!
How are
What's
you?
up? Good morning. I'm so excited to have you guys here to talk today because I know the topic is really important and I know that it's going to relate to a lot of people. So you guys walked down that. We're fast forwarding a little bit, right? You walked down the aisle, you got married, and we know kind of the general or the specific, general or the vows that we hear out there, right?
Absolutely.
To death do you part, it's sickness and health.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is when we actually take our vows, all of us, let's just be real, we don't really know what we're committing to, what we're signing up for.
Mm-mm.
We say, hey, we're down, we're ready for anything.
Absolutely.
That's what we say. We love this person.
Absolutely.
But when you have no crystal ball, you're going through life, you don't know what's going to hit you. You don't know what you're actually going to have to endure at all. And a lot of times it can slap you in the face, right?
Punch.
Hard.
You said just boom, just
Both
all in there.
blazing.
No, it's
Yes,
true.
It's very true.
So we really want to hone in. So today we're honing in on that sickness and health part, right?
Absolutely.
And so you're walking down now. You're getting married. And let me ask you this, because we didn't talk about this when we had our meet. Did either of you know, Kelly, that you had health concerns when you got married?
Yes. So that was the thing. Even when we were just friends, there would be times when I couldn't show up to church or didn't show up to certain functions that we were supposed to be at. And it'd be like, he would ask my brother, where's she at? And my brother would tell him, she's sick, but I don't think he told you what it was.
Yeah.
And then one time I was in the hospital for a stretch of time, and he called and I wouldn't answer because I was kind of shy about the situation.
Yeah.
So then finally I answered and I just told him, and in my mind I was thinking I'm either about to lose a friend because this is where they get ghosts. Yeah. But I told him, I have lupus and I've been diagnosed for a while, and it just wreaks havoc on my body. And sometimes I am in the hospital, and at that time I think I was having issues with my kidneys, and it was just tearing my body up, and I was just in a lot of pain and not feeling well. And he stayed on the phone with me from admission to discharge, days of, okay, I'll call you right back. I just got to work. I'm gonna call you right back. Well, okay, well, what does the doctor say? And I was just like, he concerned a little bit. Wait a minute. Yeah. And then our friendship grew, and it was always, how you doing? Did you sleep? Did you eat? Are you taking care of yourself? That became his concern. I was like, he really concerned.
Well, let me tell you this, right? I was working at Harp Archer Middle at the time. I was supervisor over there at middle school, and it was this parent that came in. Her hands, her elbows, her wrists, everything had bandages on them. And I was like, hey, ma'am, because her son, she was up there because her son was doing a lot of trouble, doing a lot of bad things up there, getting into trouble. Yeah. So she came up there crying and stuff. I'm like, I'm so tired of you just always acting up. And I'm like, man, what you doing? Look at your mom. She got her surgery. She said, no, sweet, I have lupus. I've had all these ligaments move here. I had to get this cut, and I'm like, man, and then I thought of Kelly. I'm like, man. Yeah. Because then she didn't have any surgery then. She had surgery before me, but no surgery has came yet. Yeah. I believe she was in remission at the time, but like our relationship came, she got out of remission. And then she became sick. And then so sick she had to get on chemotherapy and sit in the hospital all those hours. And I had to come up there, make sure she had a Poway, make sure she wanted a Subway sandwich.
Whatever.
The ultimate.
Blankets.
The ultimate. Italian.
That's Italian.
This years ago.
Yeah.
You want the meats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I made sure she had what she needed. Yeah. It
literally used to come up there in the cancer center tuck me in, socks on my feet, put me in a chair, recline the chair back. You got your laptop, you got your lunch, you got your snacks. I used to like to eat nuts. They give you like pre-treatment steroids and stuff, and it makes you like ravenous hungry. And then you eat it, and then you're nauseous because the chemo treatment. And so even just getting back and forth to the bathroom while you're in there, because I used to do a 9-hour infusion. So 9 hours plastered to a chair several times a week, and then maintenance.
And then her attitude not right, and then we have a little quiet arguments in there.
It's true.
It was
Quiet arguments. Nobody in this hospital
sneak fights in there. Sneak fights.
You know what I'm saying? Those right there.
Yeah.
Because she was just upset at me, but I didn't do nothing.
Just for breathing. Because you breathing and it don't hurt. When I breathe, it hurt. I literally was just frustrated with my condition, and because of the sickness, I took it out on him a lot. I put him through it, and I didn't realize I was putting him through it because I never had anybody that was there to suffer with me through the situation. So I caused a lot of grief in my attitude.
She would say things like, "You could go," because I know, I'm like,
because that's what you expect.
That's not me. I don't know what you think. Everywhere we go, they say, "Hey, Joey," hey. Because, I was real popular over there on our side, my side, and, she was like, I just don't understand, like, why you want me? Because at the time, my wife was, I believe, I don't want to say it.
Well, no, I was, at that time, I'm 4'11". At that time, well, when we met, I was probably 180. And by the time treatments came and all that stuff from steroids and stuff trying to save my life, I was probably 320. And I'm only 4'11".
So
the drastic change, like he saw me go through some like literally overnight, or we'd be separated for a week as far as him at work, and then he'd come back and whoa, like my face was bigger and stuff, and it'd just be like, wow. Never ever did he ever show it on his face, speak it, and he's like, oh, my baby.
So what I would do, even though I knew she was like that, I'd pick her up. Like, I just, hey, come on.
And I'm screaming for my life.
300, put on my back. Come on.
All right.
Let's run up the steps. I put on my back and we go up the steps.
I was like, you're going to be in the hospital. Literally,
ain't no proving no point because I knew, I seen her. I saw her eating little things and, depressed.
No, even
just like
in the middle of the night. I used to have like a stash under the pillow. Always peanuts and like stuff like that. Like but even chocolate with peanuts. And he'll be like, babe, what you doing? Middle of the night. And as soon as I think he's asleep, and he was like, babe, but he would buy it, but didn't know when I was, because it would just be like, them steroids was a beast. Oh, they were a beast.
She got so shy to where she's eating in the other room.
True. And then not even just the habits of the medicine. I didn't never want to take my medicine in front of them because it was a lot, like 40 pills at a time.
Like
3 times a day. Like it would just be, and I used to get shy thinking, this dude did not sign up for this. And he is just going to be like, really? Come on. And then things like, having to stay away from the sun, so of course he would want to do things outside, and I'd just be like, can we wait till the sun go down? Because I would get really sick.
One day she tried to go out there in the sun. Next thing you know, spots everywhere, all over her face, her hand, arms.
Literally like instant burn. And I was just like, oh. And so I felt like my sickness was hindering his life. And it took him constantly reassuring. I thank God he had the patience to do it. But every time I would feel low, because when you are the sick party in a situation, nobody else is feeling the pain you feel, the nausea you feel, the migraines, nobody else is feeling that. And because of that, pain lowers your threshold of being able to tolerate certain things. I was short. I wasn't unbearable.
We gonna get to that.
Look, I wasn't unbearable, but I think I was a bit much, and I didn't even know I was being a bit much.
But I wasn't always this size neither. I was bigger.
But it wasn't not even just about that. Just the pain. I was just so miserable. I was miserable, so I was making my whole environment miserable with my attitude.
So, okay, y'all just said a lot, so we're about to unpack that a little bit. So I really want to know, because you're dealing with all of this stuff, like you're dealing with surgeries and chemo and being in the hospital and weight gain and kind of this insecurity of not being fully vulnerable around him yet, right? Absolutely. Not showing him the full, like I'm eating my snacks, I'm sneaking around. Obviously, you saw some of this though. So I'm like, for you, what's going through your head? You love this woman, but she's kind of like, right now.
Well, that's when the habits start kicking in. I was getting depressed by her being depressed, obviously, because I'm a young man. Let's get this at this time. I'm a young brother, so let's understand. Far as being sexual, as a young man, I was getting it then. Now I'm loyal and faithful and married now, and not getting it.
Yeah.
Let's say like 8 times a year.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Very
it was a
honest.
lot of things that I was breaking in the house on accident. Like the doorknob.
We started calling him Hancock. Like literally.
Or the refrigerator
That
door.
frustration is giving you
I'm
superhuman
telling you,
strength.
I'm
real.
serious. No,
Wow.
this is no joke.
Yeah.
Slam the cabinet.
I
Bam.
just get a
Wow.
pencil and I'll be like, like, what the world?
I didn't even know he was frustrated.
Yeah.
I was just living me and
Yeah.
just the constant answer of I don't feel good.
Yeah.
I don't feel good.
Yeah.
And didn't realize there was like a wedge in between us because the intimacy wasn't there.
Right.
But I also felt like it wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
But
Xbox
I did at the
360
same time.
became my best friend.
Best friend.
Oh, just the escape.
They still buddies.
Yeah.
But like even that, it made me once I became aware of how he was feeling about it made me feel bad because I felt like it was a situation I couldn't change.
Yeah.
Just because literally since our marriage, it's been 18 surgeries, surgery every year, not minor surgeries, like major surgeries.
Yeah.
And so that in and of itself, the recovery period, it was like when I would get ready to go for a procedure, he would get depressed because the first thing in his mind would be, I know it's about to be another 4 months or whatever the situation would be.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I would be thinking, you don't even care about the fact they about to take out all
Yeah.
my innards. You just worried about the fact that,
that's not it.
No, in my mind.
In your mind.
In
In
my
her
mind.
mind.
Yeah.
But in
his
my mind, it wasn't about intimacy or
Yeah.
anything like that. It was about that she about to be hurting
Yeah.
and ain't nothing I could do.
Yeah. That helplessness.
Like
on
it's
both
nothing
parts.
I could do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I've tried to be there when she come out of surgery, get the ice, you want to warm this, you what do you need, baby? Like, no, it's not that. I'm like, oh Lord, like, let me just leave out,
Yeah.
As I'm trying everything like in the book, I'm being nice. I'm being compassionate. My mom said, you got to be soft. I'm trying to do that. I'm not used to any of this. I'm not used to sitting on the sofa holding her hand. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to.
Well, he wasn't used to
supporting-
hospitals at all. He used to tell when we were dating,
Yeah.
he would be like, I don't do hospitals.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I
you're going to be
feel
with me,
you on
buddy.
that.
Hospitals is
A lot of
part your
men
life.
don't. I ain't gonna admit it, but a lot of men, we for some reason,
Yeah.
like she could tell you, like when I had to get a shot, it took like 3 doctors to come up in that place because it just something I'm just terrified of,
Yeah. No
But-
needles. Yeah.
But her, her situation, I was doing everything. The kids, when I get off of work, come on, girls, let's get in the tub. Make sure they bathe, get their clothes ready.
Yeah.
And then I was upset because I felt like he was building a rapport with them that I didn't have because I was the
So you
sick
felt
mama.
left out.
I felt left out of a lot of things that I felt like I should be doing. And then when I would have seasons where I was well and I was able to do them, it wasn't like dad did them. And it wasn't that they would ever say that. Even if it was better than what dad did, it was out of their routine.
Right.
And then me, having to be sick again, it was like I was just giving them little snippets
Little
of mom
pieces,
instead of being able to give them all of me. And it used to frustrate me so bad. And he would think it would be something wrong. What's wrong? Well, what's wrong? And it was almost like living in a situation where things are good now, but you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because you're waiting because you know it's coming. Living with it so long. And then I realized that I had to change my mindset. And then in that situation, being the person that is the sick party, and not being able to, because marriage is more than just money, finances, contributing, merging lives. It really is a lot of sweat equity in marriage. And I felt like the brunt of the work of our house, from cleaning to managing the kids to going out to making the money, it was falling on him. And it made me feel like I felt cared for. I felt loved that he took on that, but it made me feel like I was a burden. And so my goal was to become healthier so that I could be a better wife. Sick wife is just not cute. And so I wanted to be, a better wife to him. I felt like he deserved a better wife.
Yeah.
And so I became more vigilant, compliant with my medications, and doing the things that I knew I could do, even though lupus is something you can't control. The portions of it I could control, I decided to take charge and do, just to prove I'm all in. I'm in to win this. And we had a saying between the both of us, because he has some issues as far as like high blood pressure and stuff, and he wouldn't take his medicine, and I'd be like, I didn't marry you to bury you. Come on now, let's get it together. You just swallow these pills, because I felt like that was, I see it when you don't care for yourself wholly as a partner in a marriage. That is you saying, I'm willing to check out on you early.
Right.
If they're saying this is what's going to keep you here. It is you not doing what you can do to be with me as long as possible. Ooh. And so I took it so personal that he wouldn't care, that he wouldn't care for himself, because I used to tell him, we would get into it, and I'd be like, you think I like sitting in that chair for 9 hours? Do you think I like my veins getting a port in my chest and all? Do you think I like that? No, I do it because I want to be here with you, and I want to be here with our kids. I owe that to them. So I felt like I was doing what I could, but what I felt like I was doing was not making it any better as far as the situation. He didn't see that was an actual sacrifice for me, because I know plenty of people. When I got diagnosed, I got one of my friends at church was diagnosed at the same time. That very same year we buried her, and I'm still in contact with her child, and she was not even 29. She passed away before she turned 29. And I thought to myself, man, so like this is serious. Like I'd been diagnosed, but I was just like, wait a minute, like I didn't know that the reality hit, that I could leave here at any moment. And that made me live life a different way. It made me live life a different way.
My anger in that time became worse a little, because at the time I'm doing all I can to try to make sure she is all right, but I guess I couldn't understand why she would be mean. So like one day I just got so angry, I jumped up and snatched the ceiling fan out the ceiling.
He did it, Jesus. He did. Yeah.
And over here looking at our ceiling fan like
the ceiling fan.
You all right?
We were in the room and he was asking me for something, and I was just being a smart man. Very fly.
Because I never touch her. I never get in her face.
Looked at me. I could
never call out her name in 10 years. Never. Yeah. But that day,
let me tell you that
my pressure was here. Yeah. And this little lady right here, I'm standing like, and she's like, listen. I just.
No, he looked at me. That was not what you did. What he did was in complete silence. And I said, boy, these men have power and authority that we have not yet. Seriously. Yeah. He looked at me in my face. He didn't even look at the fan. I just felt like that was so disrespectful. He didn't even look at the fan. He just looked at me, because I was just yep, going off. And he just reached up and snatched it down while he's looking at me and sat it on the bed. And in my mind, he was saying, that could be you, little girl.
That could have been you, right?
I done saved your whole life. I have saved your whole life. That's what it was. That's what I felt like he was saying. He never raised his voice. He didn't even speak.
I didn't curse.
He didn't say, I snatched this fan down because
I just snatched it out the ceiling.
And walked out the room.
Walked out the room.
And the plaster was just raining down.
You got quiet, didn't you, Kelly? You was
look, real quiet, like muteness fell upon you.
Yes.
The bed had the plaster and everything, and I just kept looking at the fan. And I was looking at the door, and I was looking at the fan. I was like, oh, okay. like, okay.
Oh my goodness.
And at that point, literally marriage shift, because I was just like, okay, he can only take so much. I didn't realize I was giving too much.
Just like, I'm going to say, 93% of the men in the world, 93. That in 10 minutes, our heart is broke for what we did. Yeah. And I try to go back up. Yeah. And try to apologize. Yeah. And my wife wouldn't look at me. Yeah. So I just, baby, listen.
Needed a beat.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, I know we got to get this fixed.
Yeah. And I was like,
we got a hole in the wall.
Like,
and I had a hole in my heart.
I'm trying to tell you.
I couldn't. It just, I'm serious. Like, my mom always said, you never put your hand on a woman. And I never had my whole life. I'm not that man, because...
But the energy's still there. People don't talk about that. People don't talk about the emotions are real. They're like, just do this.
They ain't gonna keep it real like that.
Yes, but this is why we gotta do it. And I'm you the one, I'm the one. We talking about it. The emotions are real.
They're so real.
So what you have to figure out to do as individuals to be able to cope with that, so that you come to a conversation and actually get to the conversation, the resolution part, it has to work for you. Now, maybe it's not destruction of your property,
Your own property.
right? But whatever that thing is, then at least says, ooh, I need something where I have an outlet.
Next time on The Sauce.
That urgency of connection and love and wanting to be okay is 10 times worse when you have a diagnosis on your life that says there is no cure and you could leave here at any moment.
Like I said, I don't know how other people, do their relationship. Yeah. But God is in our marriage. Yeah. So even when we wasn't talking, we were still praying.
Just that, okay, through prayer, putting something in our heart, we were able to say, all right, I'm taking that responsibility is on both of us. Even if you didn't say it out loud, you just picked up where you left off. That responsibility is on both of us. I know that I want this. I miss my friend, and that is now the priority.